So I was in the McDonald's drive-thru this morning and the lady behind me continuously hooted at me because I was taking too long to order. Once she ordered, I asked the cashier what her order was, so I paid for her food. I continued to the next window and she leaned out of her window looking crazy at me because the teller told her I paid for her food. She felt very embarrassed and avoided my through the rear view mirror eye contact. When I got to the last window to get my food, I showed the assistant both receipts and took her food too. I paid for it, it's mine. Now she has to go around again and wait even longer. She's gonna learn today. This was the most savage response of someone hooting at you that I think I have ever read. Welcome back to Metal Straws. In today's video, we're going to be covering posts from r/ThatHappened. Let's dive right in. So, yesterday while I was working at the bookstore, some girl came up with a barcode tattooed on her wrist. Of course, my first question to her was, can I scan it? I guess she had never had it scanned before and was pretty excited about it. She talked about how it was sentimental to her and stuff. I scanned it and she rang up as a bag of jalapeno Cheetos. She then became livid and of course, I was dying laughing. When my daughter was 4, she started using an aspirational saying, strong like Mulan, smart like Pocahontas, kind like Doc McStuffins. She coined the phrase, but we used it to encourage positive behavior. Thank you for continuing to introduce strong, smart, kind, and diverse female characters that my daughter and son can learn from. 4 years old. Wow. Yeah. I had talks with my teachers. I used to take my teachers out of the room. I was in grade 1 to 2 to have talks with them if I felt they were not meeting their standards. I once took a teacher out of the classroom to discuss her ability to handle a difficult child. I asked if she needed a break and that sometimes responding to him wasn't the best way to deal with him. She started crying. A teacher broke down in front of you when you were in the 1st grade. That's horrible. I felt bad but told her I'd give her some space and went to the washroom. This is perfect. As I was walking back, she was laughing with some other teachers down the hall. I guess she got over it. Male math teacher once kept flipping chairs and tables on top of the class's heads. Whoa! And 3 of my classmates started to bleed from their head, and then I had to neutralize the teacher with a chokehold. I was 10 years old, but I was wrestling and already had a black belt in karate and was a pro at Wing Chun, so that explains it. Someone else explains it by saying r/ThatHappened. Everyone dies one day. Everyone. Even wolves. But not books. Not words. Words don't die. My son, 3, who was a lot smarter than I am. I had a professor pull me aside after class because he noticed I was drinking a whiskey and Coke during his lecture. I don't know how you noticed it. I mean, did he see you mix it? I don't. That's beyond weird and rude of you. How old are you? He said I reminded him of himself at my age, and he changed a missed test grade from an incomplete to an A. Then the whole lecture theater clapped. I'll take things that never happened for 500, Alex. When I was 4, my dad got pulled over and I screamed, I have to use the bathroom! And the cop let my dad go. When he took me to the bathroom, my dad couldn't stop laughing after I told him I didn't actually have to go to the bathroom. I just didn't want him to get a ticket. I sure hope my kids return the favor. This is not a that happened exactly for me. I think that this could actually have happened, but I think it would have to be the dad priming the kid so that whenever, if this happened more than once, the dad got pulled over. Whenever it happened, he would tell the kid right before the cop walked up, don't forget what I taught you. And the kid would blurt it out and maybe it would work to get him out of that situation. But for him to just come up with it on his own, that does sound like that happened. I remember the tough guys in high school. They used to scare me. Now they're all like little boys to me whenever I see them. The popular guys that wouldn't talk to me, they're now trying to text me about wanting a job or just to hang out because everyone else they know is a walking loser. Life is crazy. That could possibly happen. My roommate found a bag with a tooth at the bar one time and he was showing people. I don't know why he would do that. That is weird. Or go anywhere near that. That is a very weird thing. And a guy said he'd buy the tooth for $100. I always wonder when people put the dollar sign after the number. And as soon as the tooth was in his hand, the guy popped it in his mouth and crunched it up and swallowed it and told my roommate that if he had any other teeth, he wanted them. And of course your roommate was like, no, you'll never get another one. Oh my goodness. Retired tooth fairy. I am horrified. You are not alone. I saw my ex at the grocery store, and so I pretended to be with this older guy that was shopping, and I said really loud, "Babe, grab me a Tito's." My ex rolled his eyes, and the hot guy grabbed me a Tito's and winked at me. So mission accomplished. This I actually think could potentially happen. This doesn't sound too far-fetched. I would think that afterwards, a guy that cool who would kind of bail you out of a situation like that would probably want to know what gives. But otherwise, that doesn't sound too far-fetched. I had a middle school student who was just coming unraveled in every way today. He walked up to me and said, "Today just isn't good." I sighed, looked him in the eye and said, "Can I give you a 1-minute hug?" Oh, this is not gonna... No. He shrugged and said, "I guess." I said, "You have to commit for the whole minute. Can you do that?" And he said, "I guess." Oh, so the hug began. At 20 seconds, this is so uncomfortable. At 20 seconds, I always watch the clock. Always? You've done this before. He whispered, I hope this is coming through the mic how cringy this is. "Why 1 minute?" he whispered. And I'm not whispering this, because this is just too weird. And I whispered back, "So my heart can speak to yours." By 30 seconds, his squeeze tightened. And by 45 seconds, his head was on my shoulder. At 60 seconds, I said, "You made it." And he didn't move. 10 more seconds passed, and I said, "It's time." And he said, "Thanks for talking to my heart." And he looked me in the eye and half smiled. Who knows what tomorrow will bring, but today that child was loved by a teacher. Talk to his parents. That's your job. Tell them he's not doing so good. If only for 70 seconds. Love them all, period. No, that's not your job. Teach them all, period. And when they have issues, speak to their parents. Oh, that made me uncomfortable. Regarding girls that don't text back, do you guys ever investigate and ask them what you did or just say forget it and move on? I've always been the forget it and move on type of guy after 2 or 3 texts with no response. Although I had an interaction recently where I called out a girl for not responding. She apologized and then we had a wine night at her place and then we started dating. This one guy said in a video that he has a 0 tolerance policy for girls that don't text back. If they don't text back even once, he moves on immediately. I think that's the whole point though, so he's honoring their desire to stop communication. I had a boyfriend once who left me because I was young and didn't have much to offer. 2 years later, I met him on the street. He was homeless. I sat down next to him and asked him how he was. And that brings us to the end of r/ThatHappened. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up. If there's another subreddit you'd like me to do, let me know in the comments. I'll see you in the next video. Bye guys.